What's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? Rules for Rebels here, and we are back with the Side Hustling Series, Episode 7. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing a similar story to that of Max, the Scottish guy who started the fish tank review site and used affiliate marketing to make money. Today's story also features affiliate marketing and content marketing as the basis of the business, but it is about the travel and cruising industry as opposed to fish tanks. Now, in this series, each week we're going to be discussing the story of a real-life entrepreneur and a side hustle they started outside of their 9-to-5 job. We'll discuss where the idea came from, how they went about implementing it, and then we'll end the episodes by me giving you some tips on how you could do something similar. I think you're really going to like today's story. Today's story is about a couple who goes on a cruise and comes back home with some fun experiences and a $3,000 per month side hustle. In this story, we'll be talking about Tanner Khalade. Tanner and his wife were recently married and received a gift certificate for a cruise as a wedding gift. Now, neither of them had been on cruises in the past, neither really knew what to expect, and honestly, neither one of them was really looking forward to the trip. They just didn't see themselves as cruisers. So they went on a trip anyhow, and while neither of them had high hopes for cruising, they both enjoyed it and had a wonderful time. One initial frustration prior to going on the trip for the couple was that neither of them had previously been on a cruise, and despite searching the internet, they couldn't really find any resources that were especially helpful to them. You have all the cruise information and literature and websites, which is more promotional in nature than informative, and then you have forums like TripAdvisor and specialty cruising forums, but even there you had to sort through the endless pages of threads and often found conflicting information coming from different groups of people. So this lack of impartial information and lack of having a lot of specific questions answered led Tanner to want to fill in the gap and answer some of these questions for would-be travelers. Now, Tanner is a copywriter for his day job, so that definitely helps him out in the writing department. He has a style of writing which is helpful but also entertaining. But at the end of the day, this is something very simple that any of you guys could also do. So on his return from the cruise, Tanner set out to build his website, the one that he wished he had before he left. He started very simply by opening a blank Microsoft Word document and began jotting down random questions and topics for potential future articles. He wanted to have a substantial number of topics to write about when he launched the site. So after slapping together a simple WordPress site, Tanner shifted his focus to SEO. While Tanner was a copywriter by day, he didn't have any SEO experience, but he had decided that he wanted to spend $0 on marketing and spend all his effort trying to rank in Google for terms new cruisers would be searching for. Here's just a simple example. Tanner wondered if he'd be able to watch Netflix on a cruise. Many millions upon millions of people subscribe to Netflix, and many of those people who subscribe to Netflix probably also go on cruises, and I'm guessing a good number of them wonder if they can watch Netflix on the cruise. When Tanner searched for this, however, nothing came up, so he decided to write an article about it. And as somebody who's been on TripAdvisor and other forums in the past, I can tell you when somebody asks a question like, can I watch Netflix on the cruise? The type of answers that you're going to get are not going to be answering the question of whether you can watch Netflix. It's going to be people saying things like, you're on a cruise, why would you be in your cabin watching TV? And people will say that, but they won't answer the questions. And that kind of shows why there's a need for somebody like Tanner to answer questions. People don't want to be lectured. They want to get an answer to their questions. So after he wrote this article, he realized that the article was a hit. He noticed more traffic coming to his site, so that obviously worked well for ranking in Google. Now, if many people wonder about watching Netflix on a cruise, there's probably also a lot of people wondering if they can watch Hulu on a cruise, or HBO Go, or other streaming services. So Tanner wrote articles about each of those topics as well, and found that each of those also ranked quickly in Google, as well as other questions. And what Tanner would do is use short form content. So a lot of short articles answering specific questions, and then he would either use suggested articles or hyperlinks to feed the reader onto the next article and essentially lead them through article after article after article and post and after post and after post on his site. So Tanner continued to apply this same strategy of answering questions from cruisers. Now, this wasn't just out of the good of his heart. Tanner wanted to make some money off this project as well, so he added Google AdSense to his blog, as well as some affiliate programs for travel, luggage, and other related services like trip insurance. That way, when people clicked his links, he would make money. It wasn't long before Tanner was making a couple $100 per month, but he didn't stop there. Tanner continued to write, he continued to create content, he continued optimizing his posts for Google, ranking for SEO, and continued sharing his articles and posts on social media, and in less than a year, his side hustle was making more than $3,000 per month strictly off advertisements. If Tanner wanted to, he could probably sell some vacation photos, sell some funny t-shirts and swag about a particular destination, possibly even create a travel guide of sorts and sell that as well. So let's break down his hustle. After coming up with the idea and a format, the process basically involved three tasks. Writing, since the format is written on a blog. However, video or podcasting could have easily been either substituted for writing or even added on top of writing. And because you're creating one form of content for, say, a blog post, you could very easily turn that same content into a podcast or a video, as different people like to consume information differently. And you essentially create three pieces of information off one effort of yours. So what Tanner did next is he made a list of topics and answered those questions clearly. He chose a crisp writing style that stayed on topic and moved from one article to the next and recommended articles, and also used hyperlinks to send readers onto another topic. The next step was optimization. Tanner made sure his great answers to travelers would be seen. He focused on specific questions and long-tail keywords and tried various methods until he saw what worked with one post and then translated that to his other posts as well. So now Tanner knew how to write, he knew a little bit about SEO and how to rank, but next he needed revenue. Tanner's site visitors are targeted, and by targeted I mean that Tanner isn't running some daily lifestyle blog about him eating cereal. Tanner's running a blog about travel, and more specifically cruising, and more specifically than that, it's geared towards new cruisers who have questions and or are curious about what the cruising experience will be like. For that reason, Tanner has a very focused audience, and an audience who is targeted towards advertisers like travel companies, travel insurance companies, luggage companies, airlines, etc. Because of this, Tanner installed AdSense on his site. It's a 5-minute process, and it will serve relevant ads based on either the topic of the blog or previous searches and cookies of the reader that they have on their computer. With AdSense, if somebody was searching for Bahamas cruises earlier in the day and they come to Tanner's site, the retargeting format of Google AdWords / Google AdSense will wind up serving that customer ads of Bahamas cruises. So essentially, Tanner's strategy boils down to this. Bring people in via SEO by targeting long-tail keywords focused on very specific questions new cruisers have about cruising. He would then serve them well by answering their questions and would be rewarded when they clicked his ads, which were on a subject they were already interested in, cruising. He went from idea to hustle. He stayed focused, he kept grinding, and it paid off. Now Tanner is what's considered an authority site on Google. Google gives his website priority since they know that people like it. And if you're looking to create an affiliate marketing site, a content site, etc., on a specific topic, once you post enough content, once you start getting a lot of shares, once people start coming to your site as a source of information on that topic, Google is going to consider you an authority site, and the traffic is just going to pick up there. So now I've actually done it's similar to Tanner's story. I've actually done something very similar to what Tanner did on 2 separate occasions. On one occasion, I made a travel site about Negril, Jamaica, and on a second occasion, I made a travel site about Playa del Carmen, Mexico. My blog was similar to Tanner's in that I wasn't covering the normal write-ups like what day trip should you take. I was covering more obscure traveler questions, but ones which travelers want to know about. Things like, will my laptop fit in a safe at my hotel? Where can I watch the Super Bowl in Playa del Carmen? Things which people wonder about, but may not be talked about or answered on forums and other travel blogs. One particularly well-trafficked article I wrote had to do with getting from Cancun Airport to Playa del Carmen. If you walk out of the airport, there's hordes of taxi drivers and bus drivers and vans trying to give you a ride to Playa. If you go with one of these guys, you're likely to pay anywhere from $80 to $150. A lesser-known way to get there, however, is the ADO bus system. The bus is air-conditioned, has super comfortable seats, and a movie playing. It also drops you off in downtown Playa del Carmen, right near the main drag of restaurants, bars, hotels, and just off the beach. And best of all, the ride is only $10. On 2 trips, I tried to figure out how to take the bus, but always failed. On my second trip, I bought a bus ticket, but I turned out I bought it from some teenage hustler with an ADO sign and paid nearly triple the normal bus rate. I finally, on my 3rd trip, figured out where the bus terminal was. It's a little confusing, but you basically have to walk around the side of the airport and through some gates to get to the bus terminal. After finally figuring this out on trip 3, I took the bus and enjoyed the experience and also saved myself quite a bit of money. I noticed people on TripAdvisor and other forums were keen to know how to take the bus or just how to get to Playa in general from the airport. So I wrote an article or two telling people how to take the bus, how to find the bus station, what the bus fare is, and also showed photos of me exiting the airports, going through the gates that you need to go, so people could basically look at the photos and see exactly how to get to the bus station. The post wound up getting a ton of traffic and was a hit. This is the type of content that's not only going to be easier to rank for Google, but is also going to be incredibly helpful to travelers and something they are not likely to find elsewhere. A different twist on the same method is during the hoverboard rush of 2015. I realized everybody was ordering hoverboards, and a good percentage of them were breaking, but nobody knew where to get the parts to repair them, or even how to repair them if they found the parts. I didn't really know either, but I had a hoverboard, so I tinkered around with it, fixing it, learning how to fix it, and then made instructional videos about how to calibrate your hoverboard, how to fix a broken hoverboard. My hoverboard wheels aren't spinning. Anytime some kid's hoverboard broke and they went to type into Google or YouTube like most of us do, how do I fix my hoverboard, they were likely to be taken to one of my posts or videos as one of the sources of information out there. One of my first videos to date has over 500,000 views. Answering questions can be a great basis for creating content. It's a great way to come up with long-tail keywords, and it's a great way to rank in Google and YouTube. One thing I noticed about Tanner's blog is that he didn't write long-form content about everything you possibly needed to know about your vacation. He kept this content short and crisp and used similar articles to shuffle readers from one post to the next. With Tanner's Can I Watch Netflix on a Cruise post, he would either use a hyperlink or a suggested article to lead the reader to another post about Can I Watch HBO Go on a Cruise? And customers kept coming to his site, visiting more pages, which in turn is going to cause them to see more ads and liken the chance that they click one of his ads. At the end of the day, this is a simple affiliate marketing hustle. Tanner also took advantage of Google AdWords as well to display targeted ads towards his vacation-minded readership base. This method can really be used for anything from travel to hobbies to careers. Simply find a niche or an audience, find some questions of theirs which often go unanswered by other informational sources and fill that gap. You could do something very similar to this. Maybe you want to do something similar. Maybe you've taken a vacation, backpacked through Europe. Maybe you've stayed in hostels. I'm sure many people planning a trip to Europe to go backpacking would love to know things like, do hostels have shared or private bathrooms? How do I lock my stuff up in a hostel? Etc. You can literally employ this method for nearly any topic. With this type of hustle, I do recommend sticking with a topic you're either knowledgeable about or enjoy. The entire hustle is basically content creation, so if you know the subject matter and are not having to research every post or article you write, it will not only save you a lot of time, but it will also make your content more relatable and more authentic. If you guys have any questions about Tanner's story, how to start a hustle like this, or about affiliate marketing in general, drop a comment in the comment section below. In the following days, I'll try to make a follow-up video or two showing you guys how to use AdSense on a blog, how to set up a free blog. If you have any requests for things you would like to know about, feel free to drop a comment below. Thanks for listening, guys, and I will catch you Thursday for episode 8.